Shit happens.
Just kind of tinkering around. Okay, we are live. Hi, this is William Ramsey. Welcome to William Ramsey Investigates. On today's show, I have a very special guest, returning guest. His name is Leumas of Chant It Down Radio. And we've done 6 shows so far in the past. We just did one with Sean McCann called Black Pill Digest. I think it was the second one, kind of going over this ongoing assault against humanity, really. I don't think there's any other way to say it. It's happening all over the world. And it's not backing down. This mRNA technology is still being deployed. I think deploy is actually the right word against humanity. So we were talking, I was kind of going back through, I think our first show we did was a Cult James Bond. Ian Fleming has a lot of listeners, but we've also done we've done Global Death Cult. I was on his show. We did a show, on my show, we did PSYOP after PSYOP after PSYOP. We did some stuff on my bioweapons blues. And then we talked about the Lahaina Inferno. Yeah, I got a lot of positive feedback from that show. But we were kind of just talking about like other shows, and he came up with the idea of talking about DARPA. I thought it was an excellent idea. I know it's an excellent idea. And if you're watching on YouTube or Rockfin, you can see this huge sign of DARPA, right? That's the acronym for Defense Advanced Research Project Association or something like that. What is it? Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency.
Yep.
And so we're going to talk about that. There's a lot going on. So they developed the mRNA. I'm not going to call it a VAX. It's something different is going on. They present it like it does, but it has zero efficacy. It's proven. And it's still kind of a little bit cloudy between what was going on. Like there's been researchers, her name is Sasha Latipova and Catherine Watt, who say that literally the shots were deployed by the Department of Defense, of which DARPA works with. And so that puts this kind of deployment. And people have to go back and research everything leading up to 2020, early 2020. And this is part of it. Like, how did this start? How did they have so many shots available? This is all like somebody's actually kind of like the likelihood of them having millions and millions of shots to roll out is impossible without massive manufacturing and pre-knowledge. So they're lying. Trump is lying. We know Biden's a liar and a monster, but a lot of people leave Trump off the hook for political reasons, but they're making a big mistake. But anyway, we're going to talk about DARPA. So Leumas, welcome from Hawaii back to the show.
Hey, great to be here. Thanks for having me on and working together again. And yeah, this is an agency that really needs a lot more light. I mean, they put out, the shot as we talk about, and yeah, people do need to put Trump in the mix too. You're right on that, because he said he was the father of the shot, and and we can talk about that later. But yeah, this DARPA has been behind most of our technology advances, and they have all the toys and gadgets that have supplied most of our technology, and future doomsday events could come from them. I'd say they're like Skynet from Terminator. Basically, they are. But they were originally started, I think, in 1952. Our Advanced Research Projects Agency as ARPA, without the D in front of it, and it was done in response to Sputnik being launched by Russia, and Dwight D. Eisenhower started the agency. There wasn't as much funding, and what happened, I think it was in 1958, they got $520 million. That's a lot of money for then, I think, for funding. But NASA started the same year, so most of the money ended up going to NASA, and this became like this side department where they made gadgets for the government, almost like Q and James Bond in a way, like the department where all these, things that maybe intelligence people get to use. Who knows? I mean, just underground projects. Basically they just told them to keep on developing these things, and we'll, check in here and there. And they put the D in front of the ARPA in 1972. The Department of Defense took it over, and that adds the D, so as in DARPA. But yeah, ARPA, we'll come back to that later because I think there's more to it. But yeah, they have a history of just making all kinds of crazy technology. And
right. Can you list out some? So other than the mRNA tech, they're like responsible for many things entering into the public sphere, right?
Right. Like the internet. I mean, I just learned this, William, that the internet I learned it from a guest, and I think he was pretty spot on that there's 8 levels to the internet. It was originally called ARPANET, and the dark web is level 3.
Oh,
and
wow.
level 6 is accessed by the government, but level 7 and 8 can only be accessed by AI and quantum computers. So this thing's been around a long time. So they gave us the internet. And I always like to remind people that it's really their toy. So as much as we all enjoy it too, everybody's entrenched in the internet, we have to remember they gave us their toy to be part of. And I think people kind of need to really kind of remember that we're using their technology, and there's a lot that comes with that. It's a double-edged sword for sure.
No doubt. And I think it was developed, if I don't know if you came across this, but it was in the event of, it was a distributed communications in the event of nuclear war, right? So if one node got taken out, you could go around. I think that was the original intent. And then somebody saw kind of a commercial application.
I guess these things are dual use. A lot of this is dual use, some for the public, but there's always the other use for it too. And so, I didn't know there was that many levels to the internet. I
didn't either.
Yeah, that's crazy. One of the things that they gave us that, I think it's kind of a combination of agencies, but was LifeLog, which was here. I have a little description of it. This is in 2004, was aimed to compile a massive electronic database of every activity and relationship a person engages in. This was to include credit card purchases, websites visited, the content of telephone calls and emails sent and received, scans of taxes and postal mail sent and received, instant messages sent and received, books and magazines, television, radios, physical location recorded via wearable GPS sensors, biomedical data captured through wearable sensors. The high-level goal of this data logging was to identify preferences, plans, goals, and other makers of intentionality. Well, what happened is this wasn't very attractive to people, so they closed LifeLog officially on February 4th of 2004, and DARPA never provided an explanation of why they shut it down. But on the very same date, exact same day, Facebook was officially launched, and you have Facebook funded by the financial arm of the CIA, which is known as In-Q-Tel. And I think they just threw, who knows where they got Zuckerberg. He can't probably come out of some underground base. They just get these people out of nowhere. But I think the Zuckerbergs are an intelligence family, if I'm correct. I don't know, but yeah, that came from DARPA as well, and that's huge.
Yeah, it's amazing. The impact of Facebook and everything like that, it's off the charts. I totally deleted my Facebook page. I'm no longer associated with anything having to do with Zuckerberg, especially after this last stolen election. Yeah, he was totally involved in that. So
I think it's a great idea. I should get off Instagram.
Yeah, I destroyed my Instagram page, Facebook. I had tons of information. I was able to download all of it off of Facebook, or LifeLog, I should say. But I think it's pretty obvious that's like an Intel thing. Yeah, In-Q-Tel has offices there's a big office in Silicon Valley. So they are angel funders and all kinds of stuff. Very sharp people. But,
yeah, I'm sure of it.
But yeah, that's just one, right? So they did, if you even just go to DARPA's Wikipedia, they take credit for GPS, drones, stealth technology, weather satellites, voice interfaces, and the personal computer. So they claim partial credit for all that. So it's definitely like Skynet or something. And this is what it looks like. It's the pic. If you're watching, you can see they have a whole kind of modern techno office to themselves in Northern Virginia, which is just spook central. It's just all over the place.
Is that near Langley, I imagine?
Close. Probably 5, 10, 15 miles maybe.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
But there's a lot for some reason, I think it's just because Virginia, they find it easier. It's like there's a lot of businesses in Nova, Northern Virginia, and a lot of them are spook or Department of Defense affiliates like that. And it's really interesting. We were talking in the pre-show, like DARPA is kind of like a centralized company, but almost as a talent source. So there's not that many people really working for it. I think it's less than 1,000, but they go out and find other people for their projects. So they're like, hire them and bring them on as kind of secondary helpers for whatever they're working on.
Like contractors and stuff. Yeah. Yeah. They gave us, they one of the things they worked on in the 80s was high energy lasers for space-based missile defense, also known as Star Wars, and which is what we seem to be dealing with here, possibly with these fires all over. I mean, I wouldn't doubt it. Lahaina being on the focal point out here in Hawaii, but we have the Paradise, California fires, the Australia fires, possibly Greece and Turkey this year. I mean, we don't know, but we know that they do have this technology. They have Tesla's works. They have they actually funded, I think they built HARP too, and ionosphere Keeters. I mean, yeah, it's huge, you know.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, they've been dealing around. We have a Space Force now, but they've been tinkering around at very high technology that the public doesn't know about. But space, it's like James Bond or something. There are directed energy weapons. They exist. There's no question. I mean, lasers, everybody knows lasers, but something super intense.
Yeah, they have it. If you think if it's something that's kind of been floating around, like maybe they're doing it, they probably are, or they already tried it. They're way ahead of us, and so we'll, you know, they have all kinds of projects going on. Like I mean, a lot of useless stuff too, but like cyborg beetles,
right?
And they make beams.
Some of the slides that we're going to show. I'm going to read some of the voice to skull stuff and the nanobots and all this. Like they're tinkering around with like the building blocks of life, like really not good. And the MRA technology is of questionable utility in any way, shape, or form. Like they're playing God. It's really bad.
Yeah. And anytime anytime, at least in, you know, history, it seems like when they tinker with genes and any sort of thing, that's like the end of a civilization when they start messing with, you know, God's creations. And I see it coming in like that. Yeah, very dangerous. Yeah.
So they've done that. They've done this, but let's see. Like they're like high risk, high gain was their idea at the very beginning when they were ARPA. Like that was their kind of thing. But like it's a big R&D. Like it's almost like RAND, right? But almost for technology, right? Something like that.
Yeah. I think they should put an O instead and take the D out, the O for offense. I mean, I think this stuff is meant to be against us. A lot of it is, as we go over today.
Yeah. I think it's not good. And they've got, you can just look through, you can actually go to their website. Like, let me see if I can pull this up. But like, they actually tell you a lot of kind of what they're up to.
Yeah.
It's pretty remarkable. There it is. Breakthrough technologies and capabilities for so-called national security. Quantum computing, commercial lunar infrastructure, all kinds of different communities.
Wow, lunar infrastructure. That's interesting.
Let's click on that. 14 companies to explore design of integrated lunar infrastructure framework for DARPA capability study. So that's it. They're like doing the groundwork for all this, you know, futuristic, cutting edge technology stuff.
I wouldn't doubt they already have things up there, but
I wouldn't doubt it either.
You know, that's a can of worms right now for a lot of people. But yeah, I mean, they have everything. They do say what they have, but it's a lot of it's that flowery language you get off the UN website, like, you know, sustainable development, right. And you know, it doesn't sound as evil, but when you just take it out of context and just look at it, it's like, yeah, that's not good.
Sustainable means 4 billion dead. Just repeat that to yourself. When the King of England talks about sustainable, or King Charles III, he means people are going to die. Lots of people are going to die.
Oh yeah.
So they've been in the plans for Depop and everything, Kissinger and all that stuff. It's probably why they have like the whole Ukraine war. Like for them, that's a success. Like millions of people died. Good job. Nice work.
Yeah. Right. I mean, I don't even know with that one. I mean, that's a side trip, but how much footage have you really seen from that war? I don't even think I've seen hardly any.
There's very little. You have to find it on X on certain sites. Yeah. So certain war monitoring sites will show you the fighting. Like there's some pretty gnarly hand-to-hand fighting. And the idiots from the West who kind of started the war, like they almost evolved to First World War tactics, trench warfare and things like that. Like it was like upper hand and close personal combat. It was crazy
Wow.
stuff. Yeah. So it's out there. I've seen a lot of it, unfortunately. There's a lot of stuff about the Arab-Israeli conflict as well. But
Oh yeah.
I posted all that stuff.
Yeah, these guys are onto some. I mean, they invented particle beams, drones that communicate with each other, neuro implants for soldiers, and so here we have. What's this one here?
This is Mike Benz, I think is his name. It says newly unclassified DARPA docs confirm SARS-CoV-2 was created by Echo Health Alliance at the Wuhan Institute of Virology. I mean, I don't know, but I mean it's created somewhere. So
absolutely, yeah, I believe that it was something rather than just the flu. I mean, I know they rebranded the flu, but I think the original thing came out of that too.
Yeah, I mean, no, it was something else. Like I was wiped out. January 2020 was the sickest I've ever been. So
Yeah,
something got out, and I mean, I was wiped out for when I was sick for a week, and then I was just exhausted for a week. Like I don't even know. It was before like they did the shutdowns, you know. So something was going around like strange, and it was a strange kind of illness where I had a massive cough and no temperature. Like go figure. Like it was just so strange. I couldn't eat. Like it was something like my body had experienced something different or foreign, and just fought it off. It was weird.
Yeah, and I know that's kind of an argument out there in the truth community or whatever, but honestly, I think it just depends on where you were. There definitely was some kind of bioweapon released. I saw people that were sick, sicker than they've ever been as well, and it wasn't just like the flu. Yeah, it was strange.
Yeah, no, it was something strange. Something strange. It may. I mean, there's all this stuff may just be a preset cover for something else. Like we don't know because it's a freaking micro. You know, it's a virus or something else is out there.
Right.
Who knows? Like I tied a guy on yesterday who said that they took out the Spanish flu again. You know, they brought up this. You know, they reconstructed the Spanish flu. We know they found it. And there were talks between Bill Joy and Kurzweil saying, "Hey, you guys got to watch out. They're going to create viruses." You know, and so maybe they did do that. And one of the guy who won the Nobel Prize for finding AIDS, supposedly virus, was Montagnier out of France, who said that he looked at the virus and said it was made with the careful hand of a watchmaker, like somebody CRISPR'd it, you know. So we're there, and that's why it's important to talk about this subject, DARPA, because there's almost kind of like Hogwarts or something where they can come up with something and like magically change the world. Because what happened in the last 3 years was a World War III event. I mean, something extraordinary happened. A lot of people didn't understand while it was happening. I didn't understand it. And I think that's the point, actually.
Mm-hmm. And just what we've been through, and we talked about that on the Blacktail Digest, but just what we've all been through.
Yeah, no, it's been rough. I think that, like, even just going through the financial thing was one, but the psychological toll was enormous for everybody, whether you believed it or not. So it's kind of almost like what happened in 9/11, where you're terrified either way. Like if you think bin Laden's out to get you, or you know the government did it, it's the same thing. Like either way, like there's something out there that's going to kill you, and they're telling you that, or you know these guys are manipulating the whole situation and want you dead, depopulate you. You know.
Yeah. So. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. We've all been through trauma in the last 3.5 years, almost 4 years. Crazy.
Yeah. So this is interesting. I came across this lady from DARPA. She's part of the IDF, but the Israelis are doing a lot of bioengineering too. But she is leading the computational biology efforts in multiple defense advanced research agency projects. So not only is she, I mean, it's strange to see these people wearing different hats, but she's kind of like a pro-Israeli activist. So.
Yeah. Wow.
It's wild. Huh?
There is some major stuff coming out of this. I mean, it always has been, I guess, if you think about it. What's silent talk? That
Yeah,
sounds
so
like
I'll
something
read
else
this.
to
I'll
dug up.
read this
Okay.
out. It says,
Yeah.
in addition, DARPA is developing a research program entitled Silent Talk, which could facilitate brain-to-brain communication. Interestingly, the possibility of an immediate exchange of thoughts between a number of human beings, using, for example, a Wi-Fi system, may serve to blur the distinction between an individual's particular sense of self and that of a collective of persons all linked into the same system. In this regard, the Dublin-based ethicists Fiachra O'Brien and Bert Gordine indicate that determining the individual consciousness in such a situation may become increasingly difficult. So they're talking about depersonalization, like through the use of DARPA, which is never good. The depersonalization, applied to somebody is always a negative.
Yeah. And that sounds like a few of their other projects here. I have this one called N3. I don't know if you came across this, but next generation non-surgical neurotechnology. And it's a program that aims to develop, I'll just read this real quick here, aims to develop high performance bi-directional brain machine interfaces for able-bodied service members. Such interfaces would be enabling technology for diverse national security applications such as control of unmanned aerial vehicles and active cyber defense systems, or teaming with computer systems to successfully multitask during complex military missions. Whereas the most effective state-of-the-art neural interfaces require surgery to implant electrodes into the brain, N3 technology would not require surgery and would be manageable or man-portable, thus making the technology accessible to a far wider population of potential users. Non-invasive neurotechnologies such as the electroencephalogram and transcranial direct current stimulation already exist but do not offer the precision signal resolution and portability required for advanced applications by people working in real world settings. It goes on to talk about that it has precision to read from and write to 16 individual independent channels within a 16 millimeter 3 volume of neural tissue within 50 ms. I guess that's milliseconds. But yeah, this is crazy stuff. I mean, try to put it together. On one level, it's about controlling drones and nanobot swarms and their equipment, but the other level is about reading and writing to brain cells. That's couldn't be good.
Yes, it's not. They're tinkering around with all this stuff. So this is a guy I had on my show. We were talking about the Sirhan timeline, but this is it. He comments on Twitter. This new rash of seemingly controlled killers have me curious about what kinds of neuronal interface systems DARPA has been working on. This research is ostensibly for therapeutic purposes. It always has. It always has some kind of like sugar coating or something.
Right.
Like
yeah.
but a lot of this could be used to completely control people. So
the
that's
dual
where
use of it all. Yeah. Like one level's good, the other level's, or one level's practical, the other level's totally nightmare.
Yeah, I mean, let's see, I'll read a little bit of this. A BrainGate, which receives large sums of money from the DARPA, was to conduct research aimed at increasing the speed, sensitivity, and accuracy with which a human combatant might analyze information and respond to threats. I think that's what you're talking about. And then in 2010, DARPA awarded a 2.4 million contract. So that's what we're talking about before, is how they contract out and kind of get other people to work on their stuff. To the company Neuromatters to develop a prototype brain-computer interface image triage system as part of its cognitive technology threat warning system research program. The aim was to determine whether non-invasive brain-computer interfaces could enhance the ability of military personnel to analyze intelligence data. It's kind of like what they're doing with Palantir too. That's Thiel's company, but processing real time. Yeah, so there's a lot of kind of interesting things about that.
Yeah, that is interesting. Crazy that there's a lot of sub-micron things they developed that you can get into too, like the SPIN program. Did you come across that one? SPIN. That is stands for signal processing in neural networks, And this is what they say about it. Spin aims to imply hybrid physics learning models that combine existing physics knowledge of digital signal processing with machine learning algorithms to generate more accurate, reliable, and stable outcomes. Well, that's kind of like the cover, but basically it's using human bodies that is infested with nanobots plugged into remote cloud computing facilities. And we kind of, I mean, I've come across the work of Clifford Carnicom, who's dug out some of the samples in chemtrails and things like that, and they found, you know, all kinds of wires and they call them Morgellons and stuff. So theoretically, we have a lot of this stuff already in our body too, which is really creepy if you think about it.
Yeah, super creepy. Like Morgellons is super creepy.
Yeah,
like literal kind of weird threads coming out of your cells and things like that.
Yeah, it's it self-replicates. It's like a disease almost.
Right, crazy. I don't know what this kind of came up. Spintronics. I don't know if this is the same thing you're talking about. Spintronics, DARPA spurred spin on fundamental electron physics.
I don't think so. That I don't know. Some of this stuff, like I honestly don't even know what they're talking about.
Yeah, no, it's like it's cutting edge tech. Like it's not even in the kind of public, thing. And then this was a really good post about DARPA's involvement in so-called biodefense, which is really bioweaponry. I don't know if I'm going to read all of it, but it just was interesting. Like all these guys are involved in DARPA stuff. DARPA, DTRA, USAID, HHS, and the U.S. Department of Defense, I think, are all involved in illicit biowarfare research spun off from the Nunn-Lugar CTR program and euphemistically characterized as biodefense. Wow. So these guys, I think these guys are involved in part of that. But DARPA, Moderna is basically a DARPA front company.
Is it? I didn't know that. Oh, wow.
And it received lucrative biodefense contracts from them for a whole decade. See also ADEPT, Protect, and the mRNA 1944 monoclonal antibody producing prodrug against chikungunya. So Drastic Research dug up something called Diffuse, which was a grant proposal from EcoHealth Alliance to DARPA to develop something very similar looking to SARS-CoV-2 spike. DARPA rejected the proposal because it constituted dangerous gain-of-function research, which it is. But this doesn't mean that the research wasn't actually done. It was common for researchers to conduct experiments before they actually receive any grant funding. So then it goes back. COVID-19 vaccines were ordered by the DoD under an other transaction authority as a prototype to demonstrate mass production or a medical countermeasure that are not legally regulated as any kind of pharmaceutical drug. And that's really what I think they did. And I think that goes back to Latipova and Watt, is that those two women said it's a countermeasure. It's like it's a different definition. So you can't kind of apply. Well, they tried to get around the application to a drug. I mean, so the standard legal infrastructure that you use for kind of a drug situation may not apply to these guys.
Right. Yeah. And the same people that created the quote virus created the vaccine, and they have an implantable COVID detecting microchip.
It's crazy. Yeah, this is it. So DARPA are hard at work at developing a nanotech-based craniotomy-free BCI, I don't know what that is, brain cell interface that involves transfecting people's brain cells with nanoparticles that stimulate neurons by receiving wireless energy through the skull. So there you go. That's like a wireless power. So all those paranoiacs about 5G affecting people may be correct. I mean, that may be part of like the testing function of these shots, is what I think, that they just try to get everybody to have shots, but like they're doing testing on people, right? Like not all the shots are the same. They're not uniform. Like no. I think they found out that they're not uniform. Yeah. So.
Right. And back, you were saying, I'm drawing a blank. Shoot. But yeah, they have this thing here too. DARPA's microprocessor is based on bacteria rather than silicone. It's powered by body energy and can be programmed to kill its host when the host gets ill or old or simply becomes a problem. The microprocessor simply will dissolve after death.
Wow, that's incredible. So they can just pull the trigger on you.
Yeah.
Whatever they feel like somebody
Right.
can.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. Is like they're tinkering around. They know the lots, right? So they know the lots. We don't know what's in each lot, but some creep like Fauci or some of these guys at DARPA or Ethical Health Alliance know which ones are going. And I think it was Denis Rancourt did a study on kind of the South and some places where there were higher amounts of deaths, and like he's like they're targeting certain populations. There's certain population centers. It's not funny, but they're doing it. It's crazy. And
Yeah.
just one more paragraph. There are bioethicists and policy analysts like James Giordano, Charles Morgan, Armin Krishnan, Jonathan Moreno, etc., who are openly speculating on governments pursuing neurowarfare tech specifically to pacify their own civilian populations in the event of economic upheaval and resource shortages. So listen to that and read that again if you go back and listen to that, because that's scary. That should scare the living daylights out of Americans, because these bums are capable of doing that, of like spraying people with neuro warfare to neutralize or pacify you more, because people are going to get pissed when they realize they've been poisoned, if they're not pissed already.
Right.
The shots were poisoning their family members or something like that.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I guess they made it to where, like you said, different batches and lots and stuff. So certain ones do different things. So on the surface, it just looks like someone died of a heart attack or a stroke or who knows what, but it could be any of this stuff, like what I just talked about too. Those microprocessors,
Right.
or genetically modified bacteria. Ilana Freeland, I read her book, Geoengineered Transhumanism, talks about genetically modified bacteria to be explosive sensors too. I mean, so,
wow.
I mean,
I had her on my show.
Yeah.
I talked to her. Yeah.
Me too. Yep. Yeah.
I mean, it's really super high, scary, high technology, but this is what's come out to the public. So I bet this is kind of like operational in some way or another. Like they know how to do that.
I'd say
they probably know how to facilitate personality, behavior modification, or personality changes, if not outright schismogenesis, through the application of these neuro warfare techniques and tech, which really is scary. Like it's kind of like MK Ultra on steroids and meth or something.
Yeah.
And this guy, I forgot his name, but he does a lot of stuff on censorship, and DARPA's all over grants. So some of these DARPA grants aren't just on technology; they're on these third-party groups who are engaged in censorship. So these strange groups like CISA, Stanford Virality Project, which it's just a bogus name. It's really just a censorship. It should be just the censorship project. It's really, it has the nomenclature of the term doesn't apply to what they actually do. But those people, a lot of them, if you read his stuff, there's a DARPA association to that. So
yeah,
it's crazy.
I guess when they own the internet, I mean, everything's theirs in this domain.
Yeah. Let's see what else I got. Paul Osterhuis, DARPA knew ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine would cure COVID and were safe and effective. So did I. The Australian regulators suspended my medical license on September 2021, trying to warn them. So this is like this is like a statement that they had. It was like from something that was released. Yeah, they just knew it as a curative in April 2020, which is crazy.
Yep, and it was super hard to get. Still is hard to get, actually. Both of those.
You can get it through the wellness company. So I just found that. So,
oh, cool.
Just to do a little, I'm not actually going to get paid by them, but there's the wellness company that you can get their supplements, and you can get ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine, and you can pay for it up front. I don't know what the quantity is, but they are actually doing the supplementation right now. So I'm assuming that they can get it. I don't know what size. Like I would want to buy ivermectin in like 1,000 tablet quantities.
Yeah. I did see a video, and I don't know how true it is, so I guess people could try it out there. But like, you can make your own hydroxychloroquine. Can't say the word hydroxychloroquine by boiling a bunch of lemon peels, as long as they're organic and stuff, and then I guess is what comes out of the lemon peel is supposedly the chloroquine part of it, and I guess hydrox part, that part of the word is just the brand name. So I don't know, like maybe, I mean, it won't kill you, so no, it's something people could try, homemade version. Yeah. William, I think you muted your mic.
Sorry, I'm rambling on.
Oh, here.
So this is the wellness company website. So you can buy these packs. So this is twc.health. But they have supplements you can get, immune system spike support formula, mind and energy, and then these med kits are pretty cool. I think they're about $200, but you can get a COVID emergency kit, and then it comes with hydroxychloroquine, ivermectin, Z-Pak, and budesonide. I don't know. I guess that's a nebulizer. So,
well, it's good to know. I did have somebody on my show that talked about disease X coming or something. I don't even know what that is.
Right. They're just trying to scare the living crap out of people all the time, man.
Oh, they are. I even heard a very woke liberal girl trying to tell me that she went to the UH over here, university, that because of climate change and things heating up, it's releasing more viruses into the domain. So it's like two psyops together there that she's believing in. It's crazy.
Right. Yeah. No, they've done a good job. It's like we did the psyop after psyop after psyop show.
Yeah.
They are using psychological warfare techniques against their own citizens, so they can go burn in hell. I freaking hate these people.
Yeah. Yeah, they will.
Yeah, they win. Yeah, so DARPA's fingerprints are over a lot of stuff.
Absolutely.
So they're all over this event. We don't know what's like the classified stuff they're working on, which is really secure. So this is aerosolized COVID vaccines developed by DARPA. So that's another one. Renz Jones, the Alex Jones show to expose NWO plan to inject GMO foods with DNA reprogramming genetics. Great.
Right.
Yeah. And this is going back. This is kind of went out. So all the people, this is Chris Shoemaker. Read this and weep. Read and discuss if your spouse or parent died in a nursing home or hospital. The CDC, DARPA, and Health Canada would not all have had joint knowledge that 3 medications were identified as curative for C-19 in April 2020. So these are all, murder by medicine type people.
Yeah.
And then this is another one you can go read. It's ex-DARPA scientist speaks out on gain of function lies. And that's the name of the article by Matthew Ardred. And let me just go back here. It says, I've been asked by people on my DARPA preempt team never to mention my role on a DARPA preempt team. I think the behavior of this community has been very disappointing. The whistleblower's name is Alex Washburn. I've been using this platform to share knowledge and science about the origin of SARS-CoV-2. I was a DARPA preempt team pre-COVID. So
I wonder how threatened he is. I mean, maybe he's using a pen name out there, because someone like that speaking up from this. Wow.
You don't know. It's hard to ascertain how legit some of these people are, but some of them have really good credentials. So I don't know. I haven't really looked into this guy.
I do remember back hearing David Icke talk about a guy that approached him, and I don't know how true this might be, but a lot of the stuff that we're talking about is developed in underground bases by scientists living with a life threat against them. So, and their family. So basically this guy came up to David Icke and showed him that he had this orange liquid strapped to his chest. And basically they had manipulated his body to need this orange liquid. And if he didn't have it, he would get really sick and die. So that was basically them just, if anytime he did something wrong, then he wouldn't get that orange liquid to live. So, I mean, I would imagine that there is situations where there's scientists in these places that know they're doing something wrong, but if they rebel, they get their family.
Controlled.
Yeah.
There's been, I've studied the smiley face killings phenomenon. There's been 2 or 3 doctors who literally ended up in water. One guy was associated. I mentioned the Wellcome Trust. I think, Echo Health Alliance. his name was John, last name was John, but he ended up as one of the Austin deaths, like within the last year or two. And then there was another guy, Cunningham, who worked for the CDC. He was found in a river. I don't know. He was undergoing through some stress, but like some of these guys, they might adapt to the corruption inside of these groups. And some of the other ones go, this is corrupt and evil. What we're doing is evil. Like imagine working for Tony Fauci. You have to be a more moral reprobate or a monster to just go along with all the stuff that he's done. So people who they hire, you know, they may just go, man, I don't want anything to do with poisoning little kids in the womb. You know, I don't want this. This is bad. So maybe they have to be offed because they need to know too much information and keep the money flows going, you know. So
yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. And I know they do like to employ psychopaths when they can in a lot of these different groups, especially like politicians. But I don't know when it comes to the scientists. I mean, I guess maybe the more soulless, the better. Probably. Yeah.
Look at those people at the top of Pfizer. I mean, like all the investigations that O'Keefe did, and look at them. They're like scumbags, man. They just, I mean, the physiognomy and stuff is like, whoa, like Borla, and then the guy that they went out, that was, I think, you know, they were, hey, I forgot his name, but right after they exposed that, like, Veritas just imploded. Like the whole, like, you can investigate these guys and bad things happen. Like, I think the same thing happened to Rand Paul. Like, he put something out to like a recommendation for the arrest of Fauci, and then his office back in Tennessee burned down. The second story office burned down that same night. Like, this is like mob behavior. Like, it's really not a joke.
No. So but yeah, I mean, these whistleblowers, you kind of have to wonder if it's like controlled leaks too, but it's hard to know. We just got to wait out.
I mean, the thing is like the dust is still settling. People are going back to 2020. I watched a recent interview with a guy. I wish I'll have to bring it up, or maybe we can do another show about it. It's pretty interesting because he looked back at all of the press releases and everything that happened in January 2020. He said, there's no way that this was at random. They were rolling stuff out intentionally, like it was a playbook, you know, like play 1, January 5th, play January 7th, January 14th. It's incredible. Like, he did legit research. He said it was made to look random. It's no way it's random.
No way. None of that. No. Yeah. Down to you talked about the logistics of just rolling out that many shots. You know, there's no way. DARPA had all this prepared way back.
Yeah, it's really scary to think, like, they just put this big smoke screen, like this big, you know, theater. The Wizard of Oz put this big stage theater event out. Like, it's hard to come to that conclusion, but that's really what happened. Like, they did it. It was kind of like, I liken it to acknowledging the moon landing was totally fake. Like, that's really hard. Like, it's for somebody who grew up and like believed all that stuff. It's hard to believe they faked the moon landing and just kept it going through history. Like, they just kept the lights in your school book. It's all there, but it's totally fake.
Or 9/11 or any of these things. Yeah.
It's crazy. This is fake. Here's another one. DARPA rejected the proposal because Diffuse proposed to make viruses that weren't found in nature with the knowledge that the viruses they made could be able to bind to human receptors and enter human cells, thus more transmissible and potentially pandemic, right? So DARPA supposedly rejected it. Yeah. And these guys, all these names pop up again. Dazak, he's all over there, the foreign cleavage site. But this is all kind of DARPA adjacent. I've been asking people on my team, DARPA pre-empt team, never to mention my role. COVID origins. However, this guy goes on. However, if I died tomorrow, I'd die with no regrets. Had I kept my insights and expertise to myself and said nothing about the likely lab origin of a virus that killed 20 million people, I would regret it for the rest of my life. It would eat me alive.
Wow. Yes. There's someone with a conscience.
Yeah, conscience. And this is kind of like somebody discounted this as like quartz or like polluted, you know, shots, like the shots polluted. But I saw some videos that looks like these things are self-aware, dude. Like I'm not convinced that this isn't some kind of like self-assembling nano.
Oh yeah.
Technology. Yeah.
I think it's the same technology that we were talking about earlier, Morgellons, and it's all the same. At least coming from the same place.
Yeah, it's a lab origin kind of virus. There's no question. And Fauci covered it up, like that whole zoonotic origin was fake too. Been lying about it.
Oh yeah, right. Like suddenly this virus is so smart that it can jump from humans to lions in the zoo and stuff. Like what? Really?
Oh, yeah, it's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that guy's name is Alex Washburn. So if people want to look him up on Twitter, they can do that. But let's see, we're at 45 minutes. Wow, that went fast.
Let me show you a video here of talking about hydrogel in the vaccine technology coming from DARPA. Here, let me see if I can.
Okay, there it is.
Hello, I'm Mike.
Sorry, but let's see here. It's about right about here, I think.
Rejecting it. Isn't that what has happened over time? Now that they've
can you guys listening hear the audio?
And they can insert.
I can hear the
human
audio.
Body. It stays there, and it actually does it not.
I can hear it.
I've heard you
but
say that it actually replicates.
So it's
now.
going through
Is
the
that correct?
recording. I don't know if the listeners can hear it.
Absolutely. So this.
What, you want me to stop it and see?
No.
Okay.
So
I'm just seeing.
they can do it many ways. They can desiccate it, dry it out, and you can inhale it. It could be a contact kind of thing, but the most efficacious and quick way to integrate it into the body is through the injection. And they were able to recently be able to make it liquefied in the syringe, let's say, and then when it goes through the sheer force of the needle, it then starts to activate it into a scaffolding structure, which there are, examples I've shown on my videos. You can see dancing hydrogel on YouTube. It's still up there, and you can see an example of one of the many things it can do. It can actually take into a formation of something and actually move with the electrical conduction. So then it can disassemble, reassemble, and it can it can reproduce on its own. It has the capability of doing that. It has an affinity for the nervous system, so the nerves in the brain. We know by the Clarity Project from the military that hydrogel has the ability to hybridize with your brain and nervous tissue. And what they were doing with that project is that through that, if that was successful, they could actually see what that soldier sees through their eyes. They could almost be that soldier in wherever they were. Okay, because that was a wireless communication between their nervous system. But now again, if they know what the soldier sees, it's that you're getting that information. Well, then you could put information into them too, vice versa. And we know that certain groups of like Black Hawk helicopter pilots and different, I'm sure there's other select groups of aircraft where they had a special helmet where once they wore that, they had some of this substance inside of them. Anything, their thoughts and their eye motions would instantly communicate with the aircraft. So they and the aircraft were one. And, they could get down, almost like the Matrix, they could get downloaded the upgrades of the aircraft. So you and the machine were one. So that's some examples of how they've used it in the past. But of course, those are very specific examples. What we're talking now is to use it on a mass scale, which, as far as I know, has never been done before. And the purposes are different. It's really for the surveillance and predictive policing.
Yeah. So predictive policing. The name of that video is DARPA's Hydrogel Vaccine Technology, Transhumanism, and DNA Alteration. Carrie Madej.
It's Madej, right?
Yeah.
And I think she's one of the ones who said she found different stuff inside the vaccines from a very like 2021.
Yeah, she was invited to some conference where they couldn't bring in their phones and their and anything to record with. And they went over what they wanted to do. And she talked about how they wanted to do a vaccine by Band-Aid. They were copying the venom of a snake bite and how they put little like microscopic needles on the Band-Aid. So when you put it on and you take it off, it's like you got a viper bite with the vaccine in it. But that was being talked about. Like this might've been 5 years ago. And that's why she's spoken out so much, is because she heard all this and she didn't agree with it.
Right. So like the thing about technology is somebody's going to try to get it and try to use it. That's the whole thing. Like some people go, don't do this, don't do it. And then somebody's like, yeah, let's do this. Let's make this go operational, please. Do you have any other videos?
Sure.
You wanna
Yeah.
show?
Yeah. Let's see. I got just a couple things that they are working on. It's pretty scary stuff. Like, well, here is what they do with these robots here.
That's right. And that was one thing we talked about in the pre-show, right? Is that
Yeah.
they're associated with Boston Dynamics, right?
Sorry. What would you say, William? I couldn't hear you.
Oh, I was saying that I think that DARPA is associated with this kind of robotics, like the kind of cutting edge robotics. I think it's called Boston Dynamics or something.
Boston Dynamics. Yep. Anyway, that's just,
if that's real, we're doomed.
Yeah.
I don't know how real that really was. Let me just pull up Boston Dynamics. Do you think that's real?
I don't know. Yeah. I mean, but the thing is, like, we also don't really know if that thing would really stop at a human being in front of it. That's, I mean, they're trying to make it look safe and all, but I think maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they're headed that way. Weapon carrying robots. That would be the greatest advance for any kind of. I mean, we already have drones, right? Which is basically robotics. So why not have some kind of infantry or robotic tanks so you take all the moralizing out of wasting entire cities.
Yeah. I mean, that is the Terminator pretty much already.
Right. Yeah. So imagine they're probably taking this robot here from the Boston Dynamics side and weaponizing it some one way or another.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're doing it. I'm sure that they have the money. They have $800 billion a year. So.
Oh yeah. And they've been doing this a long time. I've read about. I haven't actually found it, so I don't know if it's totally true. But vaccine, robot dogs. What was it? Vaccine. They basically can vaccinate you. I forget what they called it. I didn't write it down because I couldn't find it. But yeah, crazy. And then here I can show you one more video real quick.
Okay, cool.
And yeah, I'll just there is a lot of sub departments of DARPA. They have their own names too. Let's see. Here's a soft robot. I mean, it doesn't look like much, but what they can do, I mean, they're just showing us what they can do. They have probably so much more high tech behind the scenes.
Yeah, no doubt.
But this thing, it suddenly, you'll see it here, blends in with whatever surrounding.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Total camouflage. Wow. And that's from their YouTube channel, right?
Right.
Right. Crazy. We're in the Terminator, dude. We are literally going to be fighting robots. We're going to have to have our own guns or whatever, the countermeasure weaponry, that stuff. That's what all those things from the wellness company are really countermeasures to countermeasures. That's really what it is. You got to have your own, like a Batman's belt with all kinds of drugs and stuff to countermeasure what the government's creating.
I think when they finally like shit really hits the fan kind of situation, they would release some of these kind of things. Right now, I don't know. Whenever they're ready, they certainly could, and they did make it for a reason. So
They've done it in the past. There were a couple famous mass poisonings. One took place in France where they aerosolized LSD and gave it to everybody without their consent to see what would happen, and the whole city went insane. That was back in the 50s, like very close to like where they developed LSD. And then the monsters, like the Department of Defense, brought some aerosolized poison into San Francisco Bay and aerosolized it and let it loose. And they didn't care. They just wanted to see what the effects on the population would be like.
all
So
right,
they
yeah.
could study it.
Yep.
So it was an open air study without anybody's informed consent. So if people this whole the lack of informed consent that happened in the last 2 or 3 years isn't some anomaly. They do all that. So, I mean, you can go into MK Ultra and some of these other studies. Those guys had no idea what they were getting involved in most of the time, and it didn't address what the actual desired outcome would be to the guinea pigs.
Oh yeah,
So,
without our consent.
I mean, we can go through the horrible stuff they did to African Americans in Tuskegee, and those are probably just the ones that got exposed.
Totally.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure. So just to show you a couple more things here, there's a bunch of branches off of this DARPA. One's called ARPA ARPA-I for infrastructure. It's to transform the transportation system. I mean, a lot of this stuff is very woke looking, and like they have diversity hires to and it looks nice on their website, but it's part of the same thing. And there's IARPA for intelligence, and what they do is IARPA collaborates across the IC, so intelligence community, to ensure that our research addresses relevant future needs. The cross-community focus, so basically, all the different alphabet soup agencies, guarantees our ability to address cross-agency challenges, leveraging both operational and research and development expertise from across the international community, and coordinating transition strategies with our IC partners. So, but they got that. They work with quantum computing, machine learning, AI, synthetic biology, predictive policing. That's crazy. Predictive employee behavior.
Oh, nice. Lovely.
Yeah.
That's like Philip K. Dick. That's like that.
It is. I feel like they just took right out of his books.
Wow. Crazy.
And they have ARPA H for health. So it's basically they already gave us mRNA tech, which causes also turbo cancer, but I think that might be the department where they have robot dogs that vaccinate you. I'm not sure about that, but they smart pills to tell you when to take your medicine. And then they have ARPA C for climate change. And
wow.
ARPA E.
It's just a slush fund for whatever they want to do.
Right. Yeah. And then they have ARPA E, which is advanced energy technologies, which includes carbon negative buildings, smart farms, electric vehicles for all. So, they're on that whole thing. And then they even have Homeland Security ARPA, which has advanced tech for borders. Well, certainly they're not using that right now, right? And
right. No.
Yeah. This is where you get body scanners. But yeah, that's just a few of the other little branch offs of DARPA. So they have a lot of these little groups like that.
And this is from the Office of the Director of National Intelligence. So IARPA is one of these institutions or groups or administrative bodies underneath the ONI, Office of the Director of National Intelligence. And who's the head of that? Avril Haines. And where was she in 2020? Event 201, sitting at the desk, right? Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Yep. So she's in charge of that. Wow.
Yeah. Yes, sir. That's her. I'm pretty sure that. Let's see who we are. Let's see. She's got to be on here. Leadership. There she is. That's like a nightmare.
Any other? I can't really see that well. If any other,
it says Ever Haynes, Dr. Stacy Dixon, Laura Shao, Charles Luftig, Morgan Muir, Jeffrey Cruz. I don't know who that is. Some of these names you don't know, but man,
right.
Just like I know her. I know her face. I don't know, some
Crazy.
director is crazy. There she is.
They got
Event
their people in
201.
their places. Yeah.
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 So that's probably how she earned this job, the office director of national intelligence. Is she was in at the I don't know what her position was. I guess it'll say here. She was a national security advisor. She probably got this job after being at Event 201, and they put her into this higher position of power after that. That's probably what happens, my guess. So you succeed by doing the most nefarious stuff possible.
Where do they get these psychopaths? It's
Yeah, no, it's
crazy.
the same thing on 9/11. Like all the people involved in the supposed total failure of what happened September 11th, 2001, they all got promoted. Like nobody got demoted. Like you're supposed to get demoted. Bad. You had an attack on your own soil. This is bad. This is a failure of your position. You are in the defense. You're supposed to defend. However, we're going to all escalate you and give you a higher pay grade. Like something doesn't add up. Doesn't add up.
It's just like we talked about on the episode about Lahaina fires, the chief of police in Vegas, who, when the Vegas attacks happened, totally failed. They were like 73 minutes late. And then they transfer him over here to Maui, and he was head of the police department when Lahaina fires happened. It's just like
Lombardo,
they have their guys.
Lombardo. Yeah, they have their guys. And that whole I did a show with John Cullen. I think that was an attempted hit on MBS, Mohammed bin Salman. It was a succession warfare. They tried to pull it off here in the States because they didn't care. They didn't want to do it back in, or they may not have been able to pull it off in Saudi Arabia. So they tried because there's so much money at stake. Like there's a real trillionaire. The trillionaire class is a very small clique. And one of them is the guy who owns all the oil in Saudi Arabia. It's the royal family in England who owns all the land in the Commonwealth.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think maybe the Rothschilds or the Rockefellers. Like they don't quantify their money, and they don't go on theirs have so much money they're beyond the Forbes 400 list, right? So they're not even quantified. That's the whole thing about the Forbes 400 list is that it's a bunch of baloney.
Oh,
Use a much stronger phrase than that, but it's just people's stock values and things like that. They're
not encompassing like old money, old world money, and
exactly
royalty and monarchies and stuff.
And these guys know how to hide it, and they know how to do stuff. But like the land rights in the UK, the Queen, you don't lease from her, but basically I forgot, it's like a fiefdom or something. I forgot the term. It doesn't apply in the US because we kicked them out, but they're still a problem, man. King Charles is that's he's yeah. I mean, it's people in the Commonwealth. I don't even think they could speak poorly of him, but some of the decisions he's made make me think like, thank God for 1776.
Well, yeah, because if you look at how hard they pushed with COVID in Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and probably the UK, we didn't get that hard of a push. I mean, it wasn't good, but we didn't get that hard of a push because I think they're still afraid of some of the people of America.
I think the people. I mean, I mean, I don't even want to record it. Like it's dangerous. Like even doing this is kind of like cutting, pushing the envelope to a certain extent. But certain things you cannot talk about, man. You will get aced. Like I drive around L.A. and I drive by where they blew Michael Hastings up in a freaking car, like right on Melrose and Highland, like literally assassinated a journalist. So you got to really watch out.
Yeah. And DARPA's deep in there. Wow. We're using they're every day using their technology.
It's no doubt about it. And the NSA is recording everything. This is all probably recorded somewhere, and some witch like this one, Avril Haines, could probably pull up like Minority Report, all the stuff that we've talked about, and just try to access it and see if anything.
Oh yeah. But I mean, those people that are listening, it's like, what are you really doing it for? The paycheck? I mean, you're going to hurt your own family in the process,
They can't get out of the system. They've been borged into the system, so they have to go along because if they resist, the consequences would be, immense. Because you're breaking all kinds of loyalty oaths or whatever, the contracts you probably signed to take an oath of secrecy and all that stuff, and not divulge secrets and your, what do you call it? your secrecy, what's your secrecy rating or whatever your ranking,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. They're
what's the
compromised.
highest?
Their
Top
families are
secret.
threatened. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
But still.
yeah, you just had that guy, right, supposedly leak all that information out of New Zealand, the data that he had, and they arrested him right away, and he's going to go to jail for 7 years or whatever, because the
Oh,
data
did they just
showed
arrest
supposedly.
him?
Yeah, they arrested him
Oh, no, I
immediately.
didn't even know. Oh, geez,
Yeah,
I didn't even
yeah,
know that.
yeah.
I just got handed that video from somebody. I didn't even know that. Oh,
Yeah, I
no.
forgot his name, but like he was trying to keep his name out of it, his real name, and it got exposed, and then they put him right in. I don't know if he's out of jail. I think he's out of jail, but some people question the veracity of his stuff, but some people haven't. Steve Kirsch says the guy's totally legit, and his data shows that Jacinda Ardern was killing people like she knew. But we already have data that's been leaked from the States that conclusively shows through information, FOIA requests, that Walensky and these monsters knew that the shots were killing people and they didn't do anything.
Yeah.
You know, that they knew. And there's meetings in the White House about it. So it's a disaster. God, it's just like out of control. Like you're literally in like enemy estate, and I got to take this call. Can you just wrap it up? Tell people where they can find your stuff.
Sure. Chant It Down podcast is where you can find me on any podcast platform. And you can find me on some social media, such as Instagram. I don't know how long I'll be on there anymore when I talk about this stuff, but also Telegram, Chant It Down. And check out my video channels, Rumble and Odyssey. I'm slowly posting things up there. But yeah, thanks, William, for having me on. It's great working together. And yeah, everybody out there, just this DARPA is a real thing. And I mean, it is where all this is coming from. It's just got to be aware, expose it.
Yeah, and just kind of what they're working on, right? Like this is it. Like they're literally, and they're probably a generation ahead of what's come out to the public, if not two. Like that's what's really scary. So, and this stuff, like it gets distributed. So, like just like you said, the IRPA, and it's all going through all these huge, the whole wilderness of the, you know, of the state agent of these huge state administrative bodies that get billions of dollars in funding. It's incredible. Like I mean, it's people are more like guinea pigs than they may recognize, and I think
absolutely. I knew when in it was like, I don't know, in the early 2000s, they wanted everybody to have a smartphone. When they started making the iPhone in these nice colors for kids, I was like, yeah, they want everybody to have one of these. And sure enough, everybody does. And now you can't even go into society pretty much and function regularly without one. I mean, especially with restaurants, when they take away the menu or something like that, they want you to scan the QR code. I don't do that, but I'm just saying, like, yeah, they wanted us to have all this tech on us and eventually in us.
Yeah, it's a monitoring device. There's no question that it's dual use, just like you said, if not true.
Yeah.
You know, like the internet has 8 levels, like you said, maybe this phone has that same thing.
Jeez.
Listening to you, following you, monitoring your heart rate or whatever, if you put it in there. I mean, all kinds of stuff that you can do if you have it set up to your Fitbit or whatever.
Yeah, you can heat monitor everything, probably everything. Yeah,
it's crazy. Anyway, great to talk with you again. Let's do it again soon. We'll figure out that maybe Philip K. Dick or do Minority Report. How prescient was Minority Report? Might be like an optimal show. Like Philip K. Dick predicted all and the kind of like scary, harrowing aspect of like the high technology too. I think he captured is like these are like the psychological dystopia of looking into this stuff. Like it gets freaking terrifying.
Right.
Maybe not. Yeah.
Pre-crime, all that. Yeah. Well,
again, it's Leumas from Chant It Down podcast. I will put a link to your show so people can click through and see what you've been up to. Do you have anything coming up in the near future?
I'm making a documentary this next year. I don't know how long it's going to take me. That is unnamed yet, but I've kind of put together a lot of my travels to ancient sites around the world and kind of just linking it with what's happening in the modern day. I don't ask me how yet, but it's going to work. So that's something I'm doing next year. Yeah.
Cool. Well, good luck with that. And I'll be happy to promote it when it's done.
Well, I'll have you on there. Yeah.
Cool.
All right.
Well, I don't know if I know too much about certain things like that, but you know.
Well, yeah. We'll get into
Leumas.
okay.
Yeah, good talking with you. Chant
All
It
right.
Down Radio. Thanks so much for your time.
All right.